We're back. This is Renovate and Build with Jim and Sandra, powered by Fair Trade Works.
Good Saturday morning to you. Here we are just weeks away from the new year. Hard to believe that 2014 has whipped by so quickly. December 13th, Jim.
Unbelievable, yeah. Good morning. It's been an unbelievable year out in the marketplace, and of course at Fair Trade Works, we've had a red hot year. The Canadian markets, especially in the large cities, Vancouver, Toronto, have just been crazy with real estate, building, construction, big developments happening, and it's Fair Trade Works has been involved in that and been extremely privileged and happy to be involved in that, building all sorts of things all over the Lower Mainland. And also recently, I just come back from a trip to Ontario where Fair Trade Works actually just purchased another 33 acres of land on Highway 7, which is the Trans-Canada Highway heading between Toronto and Ottawa. So that's super exciting. We've been on the ground there. We've closed the deal, and we're already in the rezoning and subdivision process. And it's going to be a mixed use kind of wee village on the 33 acres of residential and commercial. And we're already in talks with some pretty big box stores, and excited to get through the snow in the Ontario marketplace there and start construction hopefully.
When it thaws out.
When it thaws out. I don't know when that's going to be with my experience out there. So, hopefully by April of next year, we're certainly going to be on the ground in Ontario, involved in another large development. So that's super exciting for us to have come from nothing to being across the country in 2 years. So I can't wait. I love going out there. I love being involved in those big land deals. And, it's going to be an exciting time early next year. So.
You're going to have to start a new bucket list this year.
I know, yeah, start again.
Hit a new province.
That's right. Nova Scotia. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's with a sizzling market, often comes unaffordability, money concerns for some, and questions about what we should be and how we should get the most of our hard-earned cash. The word I'm reaching for here again is value.
And, when we talk about value in our money, we always like to ask the experts. And, of course, we turn to our friend and mortgage expert, Tony Ionetti, the owner and consultant with DLC Mortgage Matchers, for all of our financial questions. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Sandra.
Are you ready for the holidays?
Yes.
Why do I know that's not truthful?
That's a lie, because we were just trying about.
But it's a simple answer, huh?
I always know the guys at the office when I ask, have you done your Christmas shopping? Are you ready for the holiday? I always get yes. They don't want to respond because wives are listening, I understand.
Yes or a blank look. But Tony, this morning, I hope you're ready for some rapid fire today, Tony. We've had a lot of people lined up who are anxiously wanting to speak to you and get their questions answered.
Great.
And as I mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to put you in the spotlight for a while to deal directly with our listeners on the phones.
So, Tony, let's get right to the phones. We have Mary waiting for you patiently on the phone. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Do you have a question for Tony?
Yes. Tony, I'm a realtor, and I've traditionally sent my clients to banks to get mortgages, but I've heard you on the show, and I'm curious, what makes you different from a bank's loan officer?
Well, good morning, Mary. Thank you for the call, and thank you for the question. Well, I'm cute, so maybe that helps. But on a serious point, it's a very good question. I do get this question quite a bit. The first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is choice and options. Any one bank is offering their own, product, and in a lot of cases, it's not a lot of choice. So here's what we have to offer in most cases, and it stops when they say no. So I say yes a lot. We do offer lots of choice and options. And one of the most important things, I do actually answer my phone. So not only will I answer my phone, I'm exceptionally mobile, and we get out and see clients at their place, at their time. And of course, it goes without saying, expertise. The experience in this marketplace today, I think, is often overlooked. And 10 years ago, it was very easy to get a mortgage, and almost everybody was doing it. Today, it's not that easy. And in fact, I would say banks and a lot of lenders are looking for ways not to do deals versus doing deals. So hopefully you'll consider me at the next time you have a client.
Hope that helps to answer your question, Mary.
It certainly did. Thank you very much, Tony.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mary.
And we can confirm Tony is so great about going to our clients' homes after hours, which I know a lot of the banks won't. You have to leave work, take your partner, go to the bank and answer questions there. And I really enjoy, Tony, when you go and you can see their home, and even if it's a renovation question, and be able to answer about financing or make it very specific to what their needs are in the place they're talking about.
Absolutely.
It really makes things different.
Yeah, sorry, on quickly on that point, just Tony is, we've dealt with Tony over many years now, and he serviced a lot of our construction clients where knowing the construction process and knowing when those draws need to happen and helping them structure in that and advise that and knowing the markets, that's so much added value. And I think Tony certainly brings that to the table, along that with a wealth of experience with the lending system. And it's, yeah.
Okay, let's turn to the phones again. Welcome our next caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Connie. I'd like to ask Tony a question about being self-employed.
Okay,
Good
go
morning,
ahead.
Connie.
Given the changes in lending to self-employed customers, is there anything you would recommend when trying to get a loan or a mortgage?
You bet, Connie. Lending to self-employed clients today is one of the biggest challenges that the industry is facing. The federal government, with the new rules that they introduced over a 5-year period of time, has really impacted and negatively impacted self-employed clients. One of the things that is huge or hugely helpful, and when I'm speaking to a self-employed clients, is having their financial documentation arranged or available. I see often many clients that have not filed their income taxes or do not have financial statements available, and without that information, I'm not sure of any lender that's offering good rates. You can have the expensive deals if you'd like, but it's have your tax returns, have your financial statements available. And in those cases, you'll get an answer quickly, you'll get some advice quickly, but without them, it's very difficult to do anything.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tony, please welcome Alice to Renovate and Build here on CL 650. Alice, what is your question for Tony Iannetti from DLC Mortgage Matches?
Hi, Tony. My boyfriend and I are in our 30s, and we want to get into the real estate market. Is there really anything that can be done to help the average home buyers like us with affordability here in Vancouver?
Yeah, you bet, Alice. Thanks for calling. First and foremost, have a good realtor. There's many out there, and they all come. They come with at all ages, all age groups, all nationalities. But get a good realtor, a realtor that's experienced and knows the local marketplace. I think it's huge. You're in your 30s. I'm assuming you have some sort of down payment, but if you don't, it's time to start putting money aside. Have at least 5% down payment, and on top of that, have a credit history. Without any type of credit history, it's going to be very difficult for you to purchase a home in today's marketplace. So have a down payment, have some credit history, and of course, a job helps.
Okay. And also, what you think is the biggest risk in today's real estate market?
Sorry, Alice, the biggest? Can you repeat that?
What you think is the biggest risk in today's real estate market?
What's the biggest risk in today's real estate
the biggest
market?
risk today is affordability. Prices right now, every month, they continue to rise. For a single-family home right now, the average single-family home in Vancouver reached just recently $1.25 million. What's going to affect affordability for the average consumer? It's going to be price, of course, but then it's interest rates. Clients should consider budgeting their mortgage payment within their cash flow. And it's very difficult to do today because a lot of people want to lean towards variable rate mortgages that are reaching a low 2% level, and fixed rates are being neglected because of this. But at some point in time, these fixed interest rates, which are offering very good opportunities right now under 3%, are going to change. And it's that change that I think is the biggest risk in the marketplace today.
Okay. Thank you for your information.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alice.
Thanks.
Up next with a question is John on the phone. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Welcome to Renovate and Build, powered by Fair Trade Works. What's your question for Tony today?
Well, yes, Tony, how easy is it today to finance renovation? And what about new home builds?
Good question. Thank you. Renovations, in a lot of cases, it depends. But I'm not going to give you an answer of it depends. In terms of a modest renovation, let's break it down into maybe the type. Let's say a modest renovation where you're increasing the value of 20 to 25% of the property. The first step would be to, basically assess what you need. How much money is this going to cost you to do the renovation? The next would be to arrange the money now. Many banks have challenges with providing mortgages on properties when the kitchen's ripped out, or the bathroom's ripped out, or the siding's off the home. And in many cases, they'll stop and not advance your money until such time as those things are complete. I know it sounds backwards, but it's the reality. So, in a modest renovation, you'd want to arrange the funds now while the property is fully intact. And then you would proceed with with your renovations and complete your project. Let's say, though, for example, that the renovation, though, is much more complex, and in fact, you're adding space, you're ripping out walls, you're doing a complete rebuild, and in fact, you're probably going to increase the value substantially. In that case, it's a little bit more complicated. What you'd want to do at first is to take out as much equity on the property you can, park yourself with a lender that will provide you some draws of money when you need it, and again, it becomes a little bit more complicated and takes a little bit more time. But in both cases, using somebody that's experienced and skilled is just as, it's very similar to using a good renovator like Fair Trade Works. And the process will go smoothly and easily. But there is lots available, and it's easier to do a renovation than it is a new build. New builds have a little bit more complication because normally you have to look at buying the land at first, and then when you buy the land, they got to determine what you're going to build, and at that point finance it and make sure the person that's building the home is getting the money that they need in a timely fashion. Lots of choices for that. There's plenty of lenders, non-bank lenders, that have specialized in the construction draw mortgage process, and we match up very nicely with Fair Trade Works.
Thank you very much, John.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, John. And Tony, unfortunately, we've run out of time for your listening questions today. Please continue to email us questions for Tony at radio@fairtradeworks.biz. That's radio@fairtradeworks.biz. And Tony, before we let you go, share with us some of the best deals you can offer our listeners today.
Thanks, Jim. One of the best rates I've seen in a long time is a variable rate mortgage as low as 2.2%. It's been a very long time since I've seen a rate as low as that. And, fixed term rates, and I've said this in the past, fixed term rates are at some point in time are going to change the trend, and that trend being much higher. And right now, most fixed term rates are under 3%, and you're looking at a 3-year, whether it's at 2.49, but it ranges right up to a 5-year at 2.85%. So today, in my opinion, if you can get a fixed rate under 3%, I believe it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Tony. Tony, with your kids campaign that you had, your Bikes for Kids campaign, I know that it has passed now, and what a great campaign that Dominion Lending was involved in with the Christmas Wish campaign. But what I wanted to know is, a lot of our listeners have been asking if they can still donate bikes. Is that possible still before the holidays are over?
Absolutely. I might be incorrect, but the campaign runs right until December.
Oh, so all the way through. I thought it ended that day with the Christmas Wish campaign.
I believe it does end at it doesn't really end, but that's the kind of the conclusion date. But yeah, it's right up until that point in time. So at any DLC location, drop off a bike for the kids. I think it's a wonderful idea.
A great idea. And we were just sharing on the show last week about all of our ideas, our first bikes, and what your vision is of your first bike.
First bike was foldable. Who rides a foldable bike? I was so made fun of.
I said I had the long tassels off the handlebar. He was trying to remember the color. We can all somehow go back to that first bicycle. So a wonderful thing to do for the holidays, and courtesy of Dominion Lending. Thanks, Tony, as we always appreciate your time here.
Cheers, Tony. We've been speaking with Tony Ionetti, owner and consultant of Dominion Lending Centres Mortgage Matchers. For a personal consultation with Tony, you can call him at 604-505-6880. That's 604-505-6880, or visit his website at tonyionetti.ca.
Or you can just visit our Facebook page. That's Renovate and Build. That's facebook.com/RenovateandBuild, and we'll have his information there as well. And you can also share or hear more about the markets, especially the real estate market. That's on Radio Real Estate this morning, right after our show at 10 o'clock here on CIL 650. So you can imagine you're done your work, guys. You're heading home and you think, oh, I've got guests coming over tonight. I'd like to start the oven. Click. I can hit my smartphone and the oven can turn on. I'd like to also clean up the place a little bit, make sure that the lights, it's inviting, the lights are on. Click, I hit my smartphone app, the lights go on, the blinds go up. I can even start my washer and dryer and get a load done before I enter the home. That is our future with smart home technology. And we're going to be finding all about it with Samsung's marketing director, Mark Childs. That's on Renovate and Build later this hour.
But first, let me ask, who likes to do the washing? Sanja, as you would imagine, I typically hate it. And that's why I'm so excited to hear about the latest in washer and dryer solutions on Product Face-Off coming up next.
There's still lots more ahead. This is Renovate and Build, powered by Fair Trade Works with Jim and Sandra.